And we are live. Hello, one and all. It is great to finally be back after a number of weeks of being away. It's been almost 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even longer, but I am back here with my live Raw reviews. It's great to be back. And with me today, I have a special guest, Classic Wrestling Commentaries, good friend Nathan here on YouTube. Nathan, welcome to tonight's live Raw review.
What's up?
Thank you for joining me. I feel like overall we have a lot of positive stuff to talk about from tonight's edition of Raw. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed tonight's edition of Raw. I thought it was a solid edition from start to finish. What were your overall thoughts on Raw tonight?
I thought overall it was a pretty good show, and I felt like besides the placement of the main event, it was really good.
Definitely. There's a number of stuff I can't wait to talk about. And we're going to get right into the show. But before we get right into the show, when the show started, they did a nice tribute for the victims if you haven't heard of the nightclub shooting in Orlando, Florida this past Sunday. Over 49 people were killed. A number of others, I think it was 56, were injured in this horrific attack. Worst mass shooting in U.S. history. So we just want to say we send out our thoughts and prayers to all those affected. WWE did the nice tribute at the start of Raw, and I just want to send my condolences to all those affected by this horrific tragedy.
Definitely.
So,
definitely.
As we get into the show itself, we kick things off. The New Day made their way to the ring. We also had Enzo and Big Cass come out. They began to go back and forth with the New Day on the mic. We then had the Vaudevillains come out, the Club come out. I like this. I like the fact that we kicked things off with the tag team division, something different. It helped freshen up the show rather than have the freaking Authority promo every week. That gets old fast. So I thought this was good. I like the back and forth dialogue between the New Day and Enzo and Big Cass. I see a big money match down the line at SummerSlam that I really want to see. So we'll see where that goes. But I thought this was it was a fun segment, and the match after it was who was it? It was New Day and Enzo and Big Cass teaming up to take on the Vaudevillains and the Club. I thought the match itself was very fun, very enjoyable, solid tag team match. It got me hyped for the Fatal 4-Way match at Money in the Bank. Guys, what did you think of this opening segment and the following match?
I'll go first. I thought the opening segment, I thought the beginning was soft. The New Day was very entertaining. And then the Vaudevillains are what they are at this point. But and then the Club bringing it more serious. So I thought it was pretty good. And the match was a pretty fun match. It was just kind of a standard fun 8-man tag match. What was your thoughts, Dylan?
I think this is exactly where we need to start going as far as the tag division goes. Opening it up, I think, shows that they're really starting to take it seriously. Of course, Enzo and Big Cass coming out and going back and forth with the New Day. Obviously, two of the most hottest tag teams in the division right now, starting off Raw, along with the two other teams, that are in the match. Thought it was a great segment. The match, I was really interested in. I was really just from front to back, beginning to end. I thought it was a great match. Of course, we saw Bullet Club get the win for their team. I thought it was great. I thought Kofi took the move very well. I thought the whole setup to the end of the match was really great. But yeah, definitely a 5-star tag team match, or at least in my opinion.
And like you said, the Club were able to pick up the victory after they hit the Magic Killer pinfall. I really like that. I like the fact that I felt like the Club, the way that they've been booking them initially, with them kind of going back and forth with the Usos, I felt like, okay, you really got to get these guys going, get their momentum rolling. You team them up with AJ, and now you put them in this Fatal 4-Way tag team match at the upcoming Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which I think is going to be – I cannot wait for that match. I know it's going to be awesome. You put all 4 of these teams in the ring together, but like you said, it was smart to have the Club go over in this match. I thought they looked strong in victory. What are your guys' thoughts on the Club coming out of tonight's edition of Raw?
I think that it's great, and I don't know about you, Daniel, but I'm kind of starting to think maybe the Club might – I think they might pin either Soft or Vaudevillains to win the tag team championships.
They could. It could.
Yeah, have AJ go over and the Club go over and make them look really, really strong.
I said that in my I was just talking to my friend tonight, like I do during Raw, and I mentioned that. I'm like, imagine if the club walk out with the titles and AJ beats Cena. It could happen, and if it does happen, wow. I mean, the New Day are close to. I just read they're close to closing in on the tag team title record in another month or so. So it makes me wonder if WWE wants to keep the New Day champions in order to break the record. So we have to consider that the tag team title record. There's a lot of different stuff going into this match, but I thought this was a great way to start up the show. Any other thoughts?
I think it proved to me that WWE's not going in, for the most part, they're not going in the same route that they did with a lot of indie guys, where they bring them in and what a lot of the fans think that WWE is going to do and just bury the indie guy because they weren't WWE guys from the beginning. But I think the direction that they're going with the tag team of the club, I think that it's really setting up, and WWE is really proving themselves as a company that can really take talent that is straight up completely talented individuals and give them a push that they deserve, and not just throw them off to the side just because they weren't in WWE from the beginning, or they haven't been just straight franchise players for WWE.
Good points all around. So with that, we had surprisingly Corporate Kane return tonight. I was shocked to see this. I was like, oh no, please don't tell me that this Corporate Kane crap's going to be back. Thank God it wasn't. It was just a one night only return, but he's lobbying to take control of SmackDown. So it looks like every week, last week we had Teddy Long return, which was fun. That was fun until Stephanie said, oh no, you're not allowed to have fun. It's all about me. Stephanie pisses me off more and more every single week. But when I saw Corporate Kane, I wanted to grab a barf bag and just continually barf in it. I thought Corporate Kane sucked, and I never want to see him again on my TV set. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel.
I wish it would have been Eric Bischoff.
You might see him return one of these upcoming weeks. You got the DVD that just came out, so don't be surprised if you see Eric Bischoff on Monday Night Raw. Would not surprise me.
But I would have rather it been Corporate Kane than Vicky Guerrero.
We might see Vicky. Something tells me every week going, because this is the thing that frustrates me. I mean, we don't know when the draft is. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if there's going to be brand-specific pay-per-views. We know nothing. And you would hope in the upcoming weeks we start to get some information out. I mean, we just know there's a brand split and SmackDown is going live on the 19th. That's it. Yeah,
and they need to hurry up and get that done before SummerSlam, because you don't need to have all this stuff happen in the middle of SummerSlam. SummerSlam's too big of a pay-per-view. They need to go ahead and get this over with in the Battleground pay-per-view.
We need details.
Like the build-up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, how is this going to affect Battleground next month? I mean, it's clear it's going to, but WWE, come on, give us some I hope next Monday this is when the draft is. This is when this is happening. Raw is going back to 2 hours. It has to happen. I will keep saying it every single week. You cannot have a 3-hour Raw with half your roster. First of all, that makes no sense. Second of all, I'm going to Raw on July 25th, and I hope I don't have to suffer through 3 hours of crap, because that could be really bad. I'm scared for myself. We'll see what happens. Maybe Raw will go back to 2 hours. Maybe SmackDown will go to 3 hours. We don't know. I want details. That's all I want. Just saying.
Yeah, so we need it. What was your thoughts on this segment, Dylan?
I thought I didn't really want it to be like him being a permanent figure, because I don't like Corporate Kane. But for some reason, like he was popping off some pretty funny things. Like whenever he handed off the thing, he's like, "Well, if this doesn't set your house on fire," and then he got a recommendation letter from the Undertaker. Like
that. Yeah, I like that.
It was
good stuff.
It was comedy.
You know, I'll take it for a night, like you said. But what I was going to say is, after this, what I really liked was Titus O'Neil was scheduled to have a match. Rusev cut him off and beat the shit out of him. This was good stuff. I like this. Rusev blindsided him. He threw him into the barricade. He locked the Accolade on him. They had to have a half dozen referees come out and pull him off him. This is how Rusev should have been booked, since they messed him up after he lost to John Cena at WrestleMania 31. You keep booking Rusev like this, he can be the Bulgarian Brute again, a fearsome heel. He could be I still see it, a future World Heavyweight Champion. I see it in Rusev. I know he could do it. Guys, your thoughts on this attack by Rusev for building into their Titus O'Neil versus Rusev at the upcoming Money in the Bank pay-per-view?
I think whenever Rusev first debuted, I didn't really like him from the beginning, but I mean, this is usually how I am sometimes, where somebody comes out and it's not like they're a bad wrestler, it's just they get on my nerves. But I've been really starting to see how Rusev, he was ruined when he lost to John Cena, but also putting him in the League of Nations and making him look like a dork. That's what they made Rusev look like, was a dork. And he was coming out every night beforehand, before all this stuff happened, crushing people and pretty much being a complete brute and dominating. You go from that to being in a stupid stable full of people that you had one guy that was a fluke, Sheamus. You have Alberto Del Rio that left WWE and did all his other things, and he kind of had, a lackluster first run. And you had Wade Barrett, which was obviously he was the golden child of the whole thing, but never got a shot. And then you have Rusev, which was on fire in that feud with Cena.
Yeah, he was.
But they screwed him up. But as far as the segment goes, I think Rusev is going to obliterate Titus O'Neil. I loved how he came out. He attacked him. I knew from the moment they had that camera angle on Titus O'Neil, I was like, Rusev is coming out. He's about to put in work, and somebody going to get their butt kicked. That's Mark Henry just started playing in my mind. I do not see Titus O'Neil walking out of Money in the Bank with the championship. But I'm hoping and praying that this eventually leads to either a Kurt Angle return for SummerSlam or something. But somebody needs to come in and be able to help Rusev put on a match that I know Rusev is capable of. He can put on a really good match.
He's a good.
What was that?
He's went out there and he has had some pretty good matches, But I like the Angle idea. I think that would be tremendous. I'm a huge Kurt Angle fan.
What if he returns? Because July 25th Raw is in Pittsburgh,
wait a minute.
right?
That would be the time. That's smart booking.
Yep.
You would have him return at that Raw. Maybe. That would be awesome. We'll see.
Well, and I like that they kind of went with the throwback thing. Like, they haven't done those blindside attacks in a while, so I enjoyed it.
It was fresh,
Yeah, definitely.
It really was. And it got me looking forward to this undercard match. So I thought it was an effective segment. What more could you want? And speaking of an effective segment, this was awesome. I was excited when they announced this the week before. Thank you, WWE, for announcing something the week before to get me to look forward to your show. This was the Ambrose Asylum. We had the Shield reunion, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns in the ring at the same time together. I thought
this was golden.
This was it went 15 minutes, felt like 5. That's how good this was. Guys, what did you think of it? I mean, this was just it was just great stuff. I mean, what more could you want from this segment?
Oh, yeah. Like, Seth Rollins, he's my current favorite, and anytime he's on the screen, I know something great's going to happen. And people may, I poke fun at Roman Reigns a lot of the time, but the guy is not as bad as people make him out to be. And Dean is just flat out entertaining. So I knew when they announced the segment, it was going to be great. And I like how they let Dean kind of have his moment at the end of the segment. So
that was great. That was awesome because just the way he said it, Reigns and Rollins are going back and forth. They're trying to one up each other. I think they're cutting really good promos against each other. Like, this was a really good promo that they were going back and forth against one another. And then Ambrose just pops up at the end and he's like, wait a minute. If I win that Money in the Bank, I could cash in on either two of you guys. And the crowd, I went nuts. I was like, yes, Shield triple threat at SummerSlam. Let's go. Do it. Book it. Why not? We've been waiting years for this match. What better place than the grandest stage of the summer? Come on. It's simple. It's so simple. And the fans want to see it. Could you imagine if that match took place? It'd be epic.
Oh, just from this segment alone, there's specific words that can describe it, like captivating, focused. This was the most, I would say, focused segment that I've seen on Raw
in a while.
Since Cena and since Cena and Styles. Those two segments were focused in on what is going to be the hottest feuds of the summer.
A conflict between wrestlers, not between the authority and who's in charge and all this bullshit. It's if you keep the storyline simple, you don't make it convoluted like they do on NXT, which is why it's so good, then you let it play out, it works. Wow, what a concept. You know?
Yeah.
That's why
it's been one of WWE's weak points as far as main roster goes.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I think that you put a triple threat match with all three members of the Shield. But with that being said, with that segment, Dean has to walk out as Mr. Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be where Reigns or Rollins are going to walk out the champion, obviously. But it has to be where it has to culminate with Dean winning that belt. I know maybe people may disagree or have a different point of view on it, but Dean has been the only person that hasn't captured that belt yet.
Yeah, give him the belt. What's the big deal? You know, I don't understand that. He should have it by now. At least a run, at least a week. I don't care. Give him 2 weeks, whatever. Just give him a run with it. So. Yeah, this was a really, really good overall segment. Guys, any more thoughts that you have about this? So we appear to have lost Nathan. I will have to attempt to invite him back into the chat. Just a moment, people. Sorry about this. What happens when you go live on Google Hangouts. But yeah, this was just the way Ambrose hit the dirty deeds on Roman Reigns. I thought was really good stuff right there. You know, the crowd popped big for that. I was like, wow, you know, because Rollins Rollins tried to take out Ambrose, and then he threw Ambrose into Reigns, and then Reigns got knocked to the outside. And then eventually Reigns hit a Superman punch on Seth Rollins, and that's where Ambrose hit the dirty deeds on Roman Reigns. And I was like, that's awesome. That's what I want to see. That's how it should go down at SummerSlam. You have Dean Ambrose hit the dirty deeds on Roman Reigns to win that WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and, you know, the Barclays Center would go nuts. So this was a great segment. I thought everybody was spot on in this. So working on trying to get Nathan back in here if we can. But I'm going to have to continue forward with the review. We had Paige versus Charlotte. Becky, there we go.
Sorry, my phone got too hot.
That's okay. I was just finishing up talking about the Ambrose Asylum segment, and we're going to move on to talk about the Paige versus Charlotte match. It was Paige versus Charlotte, and Becky Lynch and Natalya were at commentary. And Charlotte surprisingly lost to Paige after Dana Brooke threw Charlotte back into the ring. Charlotte was still disoriented, and Paige picked her up and hit the Rampage for the victory. So a surprising victory for Paige over the champion. It was a fast match. It didn't really last that long. I was surprised to see it happen. I'm not sure if this will mean a future title shot for Paige down the line. I mean, it would make sense. She did pin the champion. But, you know, with WWE, they'll probably forget that this win even happened. But they did announce that at Money in the Bank, it will be Becky and Natalya teaming up to take on Charlotte and Dana Brooke. You guys back?
Yeah, and I was shocked to see. I was shocked to see Paige win this match. I mean, it really surprised me. I did not expect it.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, whenever I saw it, out of women in WWE right now, my top three are Becky, Sasha, and Paige. And I feel like Paige got the short end of the stick whenever the up, and I can see why. But the thing is Paige was honestly was the breakout NXT call up for the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
For her to have been kind of held back for such a long time, it's frustrating. But to see her go over the dirtiest player in the not the Divas division, the women's division. It really reinstated and restored in some faith that they're not trying to just bury people that really, if we really want to get technical, it was the one position and got things going. And the Bellas just people that were a part of it. Paige kick-started everything, so did AJ Lee, and I think they need to start giving props back to the people, to the girls who actually caused it.
Yeah, and if you remember, Daniel, on one of those draws, this is the second time Paige has beat a title match coming soon. It should happen.
At Battleground, that would make
at Battleground.
Why not?
Before Charlotte drops the belt.
I mean, hopefully we get Sasha Banks back on Raw soon. I know she wrestled on Superstars tonight against Summer Rae. Why she's on Superstars, I have no freaking idea. Stupid. Sasha Banks is so talented. She needs to be on Raw, the main show, not on the C show, the Superstars. I don't know what they're doing with Sasha Banks, so hopefully we get her back and build her up to face Charlotte for that title. But you're right. I think Paige versus Charlotte would be a good feud to have as a stopgap heading into Battleground. And seeing as how Paige pinned Charlotte, wouldn't that make sense to give her the title shot? I mean, sure.
Yep, I agree.
Definitely.
So we're going to move on from this. And then after this match, we had Sheamus versus Zack Ryder. Fairly quick match. Sheamus made easy work because Zack Ryder hit the bro kick for the win. I did like how after the match, as Sheamus was beginning to beat down Ryder, Apollo Crews came out, made the save, made Sheamus run away into the crowd. This is building for their match on the pre-show. It's going to be Apollo Crews versus Sheamus. Looking forward to this match. Even though it's on the pre-show, I was disappointed in hearing that. It should be on the main show at Money in the Bank. I still think it'll be a nice showcase for Apollo Crews, and hopefully he will be able to pick up his first victory on WWE pay-per-view over Sheamus. Your guys' thoughts on this match and Sheamus versus Apollo Crews?
I guess it's a good starting feud for Apollo, but this match was just whatever. Neither of them got an entrance.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think it's good for Apollo to be on pay-per-view, but this feud has kind of been stupid setup, just to be honest. Like, what is it over? Like,
that's true.
I don't understand it. Like, Sheamus is a bully. How could Sheamus bully someone that's like 10 times the strength and 10 times the athlete that he is? I just don't understand what they're doing. That's the only problem I have with it. But what about you, Dylan?
I think that was the only part that bothered me, is like they're treating Apollo Crews as like, he's being bullied or he's being picked on. But at the same time, you have to look at it from this point of view. Uhaa Nation, now known as Apollo Crews, he was called up he got signed at NXT, did really great in NXT, and came up, and he's pretty new. I mean, he hasn't really made his mark in WWE. And for Sheamus to be in a similar situation when he got called up from FCW and he started making waves on ECW and then eventually won the championship after 2 months of being in WWE on the main roster. You see kind of similarities as they're both new guys, but Apollo Crews, of course, being the good guy, being someone who I can see taking over at least mid-card for a good portion of his career, and then eventually getting up to the world title picture. I didn't really like the whole bully thing, but at the same time, I feel like it's creating an atmosphere for Apollo Crews to just use this as a launching pad to get up to somewhere like the United States Championship or even a world title picture, even on SmackDown.
Sure. Good points made all around. Like you said, this is a good opportunity to launch Apollo Crews with a victory over Sheamus. I feel would be the right move to make, and we'll have to see how things play out at Money in the Bank on Sunday. But with that saying, after this on Raw, we had Kevin Owens and Alberto Del Rio talk to Shane and Kane in the back, and this eventually led to a little back and forth disagreement between Del Rio and Owens, and this led to Shane announcing that tonight it would be Del Rio and Kevin Owens teaming up to take on the Lucha Dragons. And if Owens and Del Rio lose, they would be out of the Money in the Bank, and the Lucha Dragons would be in Money in the Bank ladder match. The thing I liked about this was you took a match that if you just had this match happen, you don't really have a reason to care. But the nice thing about this was there was something on the line. Thank you. We need to do this more often to make these matches mean something. So I don't know about you guys, but I thought it was a nice touch, and it actually got me to look forward to the eventual match later on in the show.
Yeah, and my favorite part about it was when Kevin Owens started, he's like, I think you're cool because you speak another language, and he started screaming at him in French. Like, Kevin Owens is just hilarious.
He's awesome. He's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Kevin Owens, he's just gold all around. I eventually see him getting up there to a world title shot and being a world champion. But that segment was great. A lot of the humor. You can't put Kevin Owens on the mic or on the camera without him just saying something golden. I loved all of his interviews with can't even remember his name, but the guy that they replaced Josh Matthews with. Tom Phillips. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. But I thought the match was pretty cool. There was actually a few times where I thought they were going to legit give the match to the Lucha Dragons, which I really enjoyed that because
you didn't know. It kept you guessing. Like, whoa, they might actually win. Holy crap.
Yeah, and that's exactly what WWE has been doing right so far. They've been keeping people guessing. Like with AJ Styles and Roman Reigns, of course, it didn't end necessarily the way that I wanted it to, but there were several times where it's like, okay, AJ didn't win the first time. Maybe the second time he's going to do it. And while the second match ended the same way the first one ended, it kept you guessing throughout the whole time because there were several points where I literally thought AJ was going to walk out as WWE World Heavyweight Champion after only being in the company for at least a month or two. Even I think 3. How long has he been in the company? It's been
January, so we're coming up on 6 months almost.
Yeah. Okay. So I was way off. It's just WWE. They did right by me on this match because it was golden from beginning to end. Kevin Owens, even in the middle of the match, he'll just yell out just the most random things, and that's what makes Kevin Owens, I think, a step above the rest of everybody because he's not afraid to just talk.
He does. The little subtle things as a heel that he does that I love and I appreciate.
Yeah, definitely.
So going a little bit out of order here, but Owens and Del Rio were able to pick up the victory after I believe Owens hit the pop-up powerbomb on Sin Cara, if I'm correct. Okay, cool. So we're going to jump back now to Sami Zayn versus Cesaro. This was for the amount of time, I think it went 10 minutes almost. It was good 10 minutes. And I'd love to see these guys go on pay-per-view and get 20 minutes because I know they've had great matches on NXT. And the stuff right here, this finishing sequence, I have to say, towards the end, where Sami Zayn went for the Blue Thunder Bomb, Cesaro flipped out of that, and Zayn wrapped Cesaro up with a whipping sunset flip for the win. It looked really sick. Like I said, this was a really fun match. Not the best match, obviously, that these two guys had, but it was great to see them get the big stage to shine, to have a match like this on Monday night. Your guys' thoughts on Sami Zayn versus Cesaro?
I thought it was a really good match. I mean, you put those two guys in the ring, you expect, you know it's going to be a really good match. So overall, that was just great.
Yeah, it was great from top to bottom, left, right, front, and back. It was just a great match. And, of course, you had Sami Zayn go over, which is great. This is what they need to do. Cesaro, of course, was great in the match. Just the athleticism from both guys is just
tremendous.
It was amazing to watch.
Cesaro's strength with lifting Zayn up and flipping him over, and then the uppercut city, and then going for the swing attempt. I mean, counter for counter, these two guys can match each other's moves. It was great stuff all around. Hopefully we see I'd like to see a future feud on the main roster down the line, maybe for the Intercontinental Championship. If they continue, what I think they'll do is go back to Cesaro and Miz, but that's another idea for another time. We're going to move on to a really another good segment on Raw tonight. It was this contract signing between John Cena and AJ Styles. This feud has been tremendous so far. I've enjoyed it. It's been a highlight every Monday night to look forward to what's going to happen next. This contract signing was certainly very, very good. Cena came out. Of course, he talked about, how he's pretty much, the man. He has respect for AJ Styles. And then he said that the powers that be, that they didn't want AJ Styles in WWE for a long time, and he wanted to call out AJ Styles. He had a proposition to offer to AJ Styles, and I really liked how they set up this contract signing segment. Cena essentially offered AJ to sign one of two contracts. The one contract said, if you sign this, it'll simply be a one-on-one straight-up matchup, John Cena versus AJ Styles. You sign this one, it'll be John Cena versus AJ Styles with the club. So Cena trying to get inside Styles' head. Eventually, Styles goes irate on Cena. He flips out on him. It's him and Cena have a great exchange of words. I can't recap it all, but the point is Styles signs the contract for the singles match without the club being at ringside. Guys, your thoughts on this contract signing segment?
I thought it was great. I mean, I really think this should have been the main event of the show, and I ever since Cena's returned, he's been cutting great promo after great promo after great promo, and I just sometimes, I mean, he just gets a lot of flack he doesn't deserve, and I'm just enjoying this feud. I think it's been a match that I've been wanting to see and a feud I've been wanting to see since 2005. So I'm just sitting back and enjoying it.
Exactly. Dylan, your thoughts?
I'm honestly, I mean, I've been alive for 18 years. I've been watching WWE for at least 10 or 12 of those 18 years. And I have, from day one, from the time that I was a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan, and from the times I was pretending I was Jeff Hardy doing front flips off of things onto everything, I have been a diehard WWE fan for the longest time, wrestling fan, and to finally see something done right in a company that has done so many things wrong for the longest time, not like since forever, but consistently for the past few years, WWE has been suffocating us in programming and with product that we don't want, and for somehow a miracle, WWE signs the whenever you think professional wrestling, if you're a real wrestling fan, if you can name one of the best wrestlers in the world at what they do, you think AJ Styles. AJ Styles is a marquee person, especially in Japan. But you put him up against John Cena, which is the face that runs the place in WWE.
He's the man.
He is the Steph Curry of WWE. He is the LeBron James of WWE. This man has carried the company for so long, and you have two guys. You have it pretty much, I mean, whether we like it or not, you have a TNA guy versus a WWE guy in a match that honestly I never believed could ever happen. These segments are golden. The match is going to be amazing. The segment, honestly, they only had a few minutes, and they did more within a few minutes than what any Authority promo did in 20 minutes of opening Raw. I'm so pumped. AJ in the club, just ever since January, I've just been falling in love again with WWE, and every week John Cena's laying into AJ, AJ's laying into John Cena. This is a feud that you can't touch it. It's so hard. Even Rock and Cena. I mean, Rock and Cena was great. Don't get me wrong. But AJ Styles and John Cena. AJ Styles is in John Cena's shoes when John Cena was facing The Rock. This is The Rock and Cena reincarnated into something that the match is going to be so amazing. I'm speechless.
6 days, almost soon to be 5. I can't wait for this match. Like you said, it's a dream match. The build to it has been great. I think AJ is really killing it as a heel right now. Ever since he turned 2 weeks ago, which was unexpected, it's just been on fire. Last week, this week, can't wait for the match on Sunday. It's probably going to be match of the night. Could be a match of the year candidate. Wouldn't surprise me. So, like you said, a lot of good stuff we got out of this. contract signing segment, and I liked the choices that Cena offered. I didn't see that coming. It didn't break down into the typical brawl that we see in a contract signing segment. It really got you to think, oh, is he actually going to sign this one? Or is he going to sign that one? I thought he was going to sign the one with the club, but he ended up signing the singles match. So that's very interesting. And I also heard this theory thrown out. Doesn't mean that somebody can't debut at Money in the Bank, can it?
Finn
A
Balor.
certain demon might we see make his arrival?
I hope.
We'll
I
see.
mean, NXT TakeOver the end of
That's it.
Finn Balor. The end of Finn Balor.
That's it. He's done. I'm pretty well. Maybe Nakamura. We'll see. But for the most part, he's wrapping up on NXT. He's pretty much on his way up. But you never know. I mean, we'll have to see. I like this. I don't know what's going to happen. Thank you, WWE. I'm intrigued. That's all you got to do. That's all. It's simple.
Yeah, Money in the Bank is truly shaping up to be probably one of the best Money in the Bank pay-per-views ever, rivaling with CM Punk.
I mean, I don't remember the last time I've looked forward to 3 straight pay-per-views. Payback. Extreme Rules was good. Now Money in the Bank can be good. Keep it going. Let's go. Let's make Battleground, SummerSlam. Keep it going. Come on. We can do this.
It's a wonderful time to be a WWE fan.
It's 10 times better than last year. Was awful. Last year was one of the worst years I've watched. So
Yeah.
we're doing okay this year. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it's up. Last year was up there with 2007 and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to finish off this review. We had Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho in the main event. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were on commentary. That was awesome. Them going back and forth with one another on the mic. Alberto Del Rio was the guest timekeeper, and Cesaro was the special guest ring announcer. So they had everybody involved here at Money in the Bank in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And it was a pretty solid match between Jericho and Ambrose. A little anticlimactic. Ambrose was able to pick up Dirty Deeds for the victory, so that was nice to see. We had a huge brawl break out after the match between all 6 guys. Zayn dove off the top rope to take out all the other participants in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And Jericho set up the ladder in the ring, climbed up it, grabbed the Money in the Bank briefcase, and that's how we closed out Raw this week. Your guys' thoughts on this match and the ensuing brawl?
See, I was expecting they got all the Money in the Bank participants out, and I was kind of expecting maybe a returning or a new superstar to be added to the match, maybe at the end. That didn't happen. It's ending the show. I thought either the whole Ambrose Asylum or the AJ Styles John Cena contract signing should have ended the show. It's not like this was a bad segment.
No.
But it shouldn't have ended the show.
It was a little flat.
Yeah, and those 2 huge segments, one of those 2 should have ended the show because they're just bigger than this was.
Yeah.
I think I really liked the match. It was good. I mean, we've seen it before. At 2 pay-per-views already?
Yeah, Payback.
Yeah, so I mean, we've seen the match already.
Nobody watches.
Yeah. So for the most part, we've seen this match at least 3 times on TV shows and shows that people care about. But it was a good match. It was nice back and forth. It served its purpose. Now the brawl, I really liked it. I liked Sami Zayn getting to do his thing, doing his
Nice dive.
At first, and now that it's been able to sit and kind of linger for a little bit, Jericho going up and grabbing the briefcase, it would be an amazing thing, and it would be sort of coming full circle. And Jericho came up with the idea of Money in the Bank. He has never won Money in the Bank. What if this Sunday is Jericho's time? What if he wins and whether he cashes in successfully or not, this man came up with the match title or the match concept, but hasn't won it yet. So I think if Jericho walks out Money in the Bank, Mr. Money in the Bank, I'll be happy. But I mean, the segment, I was satisfied with it. I don't think that it should have closed out the show, mainly because no one returned, no one debuted. I was expecting for a whole hot second, like to hear Rev Theory start playing, and start, hearing stuff about voices and all that. And I was expecting Orton to come out or having somebody like an NXT call-up come out. But I know they don't want to take focus away from the actual match and everybody else in there, so I can respect it.
See, I was thinking when Jericho's climbing up and grabbing that briefcase, the lights would go out and Bray Wyatt would return. Because there was still that seventh man that we're not going to have added now.
That's what I was kind of thinking too.
I was like, come on, it's perfect. Everybody's laid out. Jericho's going to go. Because there's history between Jericho and Wyatt. Remember,
and there's history between Jericho and another guy, and I know this is really far-fetched, and I know this wasn't going to happen, but somewhere in the back of my mind, I was thinking Goldberg. Goldberg and Jericho have a lot of history.
That would be crazy. Oh man. But yeah, a little bit of a flat way to close out Raw, but overall I thought this was a solid edition of Raw. Guys, this is the part of the show the review where we give our individual grades for Raw. I thought about it. I'm giving Raw tonight a B+. I'm giving Raw a B+ for tonight. What are your guys' grades for tonight's edition of Raw?
I'm giving it a B+ as well.
Honestly, the show, it was one of those things where it was very refreshing. I think because of the placement, this is why the show's not getting an A, not even an A-. I'm going to be giving it a B+ as well because of the fact that it's just there was something missing. I think that with a go-home show, which WWE kind of has a track record for it, where the go-home shows, they're not necessarily the best, but they're not the worst. But this was actually one of the better along the line of crappy shows and historical Raws. I think it was a very solid middle ground. I think it was definitely a B+ show, but that doesn't take away from how amazing the segments were. The Shield, reunion, and of course Cena and Styles setting up. It was a great show.
We've improved since Memorial Day. That's all. Went from a D. Last week was a C. Now we're at a B. Hopefully on next Monday we get an A. So hey, we'll see how it goes. But guys, thank you all for watching, and thank you guys for joining me for my live Raw review. If you want to get a quick plug-in for your YouTube channel, you're most certainly welcome to do so.
Well, first, thank you for letting us join you, and our wrestling channel is Classic Wrestling Commentaries. But thank you for letting us join, Daniel.
Absolutely. Not a problem. Not a problem. And one more thing, I have to mention this tonight because my Pittsburgh Penguins are the 2016 Stanley Cup champions of the world. You got that right, and you saw it on Raw tonight. Triple H is giving the Penguins a custom WWE Penguins championship belt, which I want, by the way. I want that belt. Triple H sent that to me, the biggest Penguin fan in all of Kennedy Township. But that's beside the point. Shout out to the Pens. They did it. They kicked ass. They were 4-time Stanley Cup champions. Look at my live reactions video on my channel. So passionate about the Pens. I just wanted to get it out there real quick, but let's go Pens.
Yeah, give it up for that HBK line.
HBK. Hagelin, Bonino, and Kessel. What more can you say?
Maybe I'll be as excited as you if the Cavs can make a comeback. But
here you go. We got NBA happening. It's a great time to be a sports fan. So, yeah, guys, thank you all for watching this live Raw review. We are signing out. We will see you later on. Peace.
Deuces.